Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Oh, that was cringe, I cannot. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Today, it's another wrap up. This is for the month of June, and we're just gonna talk about all the books that I read in June, what I thought of the books I read in June, all that jazz. That's what we're doing today. I only read 3 books this month. I give the explanation in every single video as to why it's quite low. So this time, I'm not gonna do it. If you haven't watched my other wrap-ups, you definitely should. They're all amazing. I recommend that you do because we talk about a lot of books and there's some good recommendations to be found and like some thoughts to be heard for sure. So if you are interested, you can go and check that out on the channel as well. But today we're talking about these 3 books in my hand. I actually wrote points today because for me it's actually a little bit hard to remember what was in the book after I've read it and I've moved on to another one. So I had to write points down so that I remember the key points of each book. Okay, so let's go into this now. First book I read this month was Legendary by Stephanie Garber. I absolutely hate this cover. I hate this cover so much. I really want to rehome it, but anyways, this is the one I have. The US editions are so much better. Anyway. This book, if you are familiar with the Caraval trilogy in general, it's a fantasy, but it is very magical. It's kind of feels like a fever dream. You can't really trust what you're reading. So if you've read the book before, Caraval, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There's magic and it's the circus and you are told things but you can't really trust that it's true because they are in the game of Caraval. So a lot of things are fabricated. A lot of people are lying to each other. There's lots of deadly bargains where you have to like wish lives or things like that, and the currency can be lives. It's a very interesting and magical setting, which I love. I love the magical setting of it. This one in particular takes place during the second game. Obviously it's a continuation from the second book in the trilogy. This one is told by Tella's POV. So in the first book it was Scarlet. It's 2 sisters, Scarlet and Tella. Donatella. The first book was written from Scarlett's POV and this one is from Tella's POV. I have to say I much prefer Tella. She's so much more daring, she's so much more fun, she's feisty. Everything about her is more entertaining for me. She's just willing to do a lot more than her sister is, and it kind of comes across in the conversations that they have. She's always having to encourage her to do things and stop being scared to do this. She's the one with the courage. Now in this book, I'll give a brief. It takes part, they're playing the game again, and Tella fully intends to win this game. I won't say the reason because it's a spoiler for the ending of the first one. So she's running around in the circus again, and she's trying to win. That's the plot of this book without spoiling. I want to say though, in this book, there is a part by the end where Tella suspects that her sister is taking part in the game. I don't know what was happening with her sister in this book. Scarlet was so sus. I don't know what was going on with her. She was doing things behind her back. She would find her places that she normally wouldn't be, or she would knock on her bedroom door and she wouldn't be there and she'd be missing. Something is gonna happen with Scarlet in the final one, I think. I really do think something's gonna happen with her because she was so bizarre. That's something that needs to be explained. Please, because if I did not get that in the last book, I'm gonna be confused. Anyway, in both of the books, like I've only read the first 2. I'm actually really excited to read the third because I do really enjoy my reading experience with this series. It's fun, it's a lot of fun, and it's very entertaining. There is a little bit of romance sprinkled throughout it. In the first one, Scarlet is having a little romance with Julian, and in this one, Tella is having a little bit of a romance with Dante. Dante, he appears to be someone that can't be trusted. He can definitely come across as someone who's gonna lie to you. But I actually really like him. I don't think he's as bad as he's made out to be, and I don't think that he has intentions of hurting Tella. I think he really likes Tella. I really do. I have faith that this is a good person, and he's got good intentions. So yeah, overall, this is a fantasy book. I rated this 4 stars because it just wasn't that 5. The first one was also 4 stars. I think this is a 4-star series for me. So this got a 4. It just isn't a 5. The next book that I read this month was Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. Now this book has a very big section in my heart devoted to it. I love this book. I love this book. It was absolutely incredible. It was so romantic. The banter between Darla and Julian was just amazing. Their families play a big role in the story. Their mothers specifically play a big role in the story of trying to get the two of them together. And I just thought that was really fun to make the moms so prominent in the story and special, because moms do play a big role in stuff like that, and I thought it was great. The writing was amazing. It flowed incredibly, and this was my first book by Lauren Asher. She did an incredible job. She put so much detail. She put so many extra passages at the end of the book, and it just made the reading experience so much better and feel so worth it, because I'm sure a lot of people are intimidated by the fact that it's 500 pages for a romance book. It didn't feel that way. It was great. The writing is a good size, so it doesn't really feel like you are, for me, it didn't at all feel like I was snailing my way through this book. It was great. I loved it. There was a deep topic in this as well. I'm not going to say what it was, because I feel like you need to, once you read it in the book, for those of you that have dealt with this as well, it's really going to hit, because I think Lauren wrote it so well. It was so touching. It was very sad. It was important. It's very important to read things like that for readers to feel recognized for their emotions and things like this. And so it was really well written, and it was a great thing to add to the story to give it more depth. Also, in this book, there's like this fun thing. There are Spanish footnotes in this book because they speak Spanish to each other and their mothers and everything, so I'm assuming it's Spanish. They are Spanish. There's Spanish footnotes, and I love to read the Spanish footnotes because I feel like I'm learning language while I read it. So it would be written in Spanish, and then the footnote would be the English translation. And I love that. I love that because I feel like I'm being educated while I'm reading a romance novel. So I loved that. For people that haven't read this yet or haven't heard of it, this takes place in Lake Wisteria, and it is linked to the Dreamland Billionaire series. The fine print, terms and conditions, the final offer. It's the same universe. I haven't read that series yet, but it's the same universe. And so if you've read that series and you haven't heard of this yet, which I highly doubt, I highly recommend. This ticked every single box for me. The next book that I read this month was Powerless by Elsie Silver. So this month I'm getting into a few series, like I'm finishing my series with Legendary and this one. This is the third book in the Chestnut Spring series of 5. This is very popular, so I think that a lot of people have heard of this. I'll start off by saying the massive positive. Chestnut Springs as a universe, as a series, is incredible. It's amazing. It's got such a beautiful setting. The family dynamic is unmatched. They are all such special people, and they all love each other so much. The found family in this is incredible. It's so touching. It's just so beautiful to read that. It's so beautiful to read that. And you honestly, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, I'm reading, I'm like, I wish I could be there. I wish I could be there. It was just great. I love this universe. Elsie Silver is incredible. Now, my massive negative with this book is that when the spice, I'm gonna talk this negative and then I'll go to the other positives, so we can balance it out. This is what docked a star on this book. Oh, by the way, Love Redesigned was a 5 stars, if that wasn't already obvious. What docked a star in this book was when Jasper and Sloane, when the spice started to come in, Jasper, you know Jasper in the previous 2 books as this mysterious, broody guy. When the spice comes in, he's a whole different person. To me, this actually worries me because, I don't know, it's just something about it kind of icks me out. He's completely different behind closed doors with her. You know what I'm talking about. It's borderline possessive and toxic, in my opinion. Like, really, they're both consenting, everything's fine, there's no problem. But for me, and I really, really love Spice. I enjoy Spice a lot. It's not a thing that am looking to avoid in romance novels. It was too much. There was too much spice in this for me. Honestly, this is where I draw the line. There was too much. Some of the things Jasper did was icky. I was not into his persona in the bedroom. I didn't like it because it felt like almost he was objectifying her. They're both into it. Like I said, it's not a problem. I did not like the things he would tell her to do and the things that he wanted. That icks me out. It icks me out. It really just icks me out. And I just thought it was way too much. And I think after the first few chapters, and it just kept on going, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it was a shame because it took away from the pure love that these two characters have for each other. They've loved each other their whole lives. It's a love at first sight situation, actually. And it really comes across in this book. It's such a lasting love, and it's beautiful. And then the spice took away from the most endearing part of the story, which was a shame for me. So this is a 4 stars, and it was my least favorite in the series, which once again is a huge shame because I was most excited for this. Because he was mysterious, and she's a ballet dancer, and he plays ice hockey, and he's famous for it, and it was just... I was so excited for it. It wasn't that one for me. My favorite remains Heartless, which was a 5 star. Heartless, perfect. Perfect, loved it. This missed the mark on that one box that I just spoke about, unfortunately. The next one, I have a feeling is going to be really good. Yeah, so that's the 3 books that I read this month. So we've got Legendary, Love Redesigned, and Powerless. They were all enjoyable reads. All of them were good. I was thrilled with this. It's a good reading month. Not a very large reading month, but a good reading month. And I suppose Love Redesigned is long. So, I still have, so no complaints here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you will go and read one of these books because now all of a sudden you're interested. That's always my goal with this. Also just love to talk about what I've read and just like vent, and I just like to talk to you guys, so it's always fun for me. And it is very much, it's a booktube thing, you know? We always talk about the books that we read at the end of the month. Because there are some people that want to hear about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you should definitely like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you very soon for another one.